Me?
Me, 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 me. You.
Okay, well, hello and welcome to this week's coaching session. Chad and I were actually just talking about the difference between being a quitter and the power of saying no. I think we've all run into that situation where we found ourselves saying, my parents didn't raise a quitter. And Chad kind of helped me realize that's why some of us actually stay stuck. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest misnomers that we have, especially online, is that we have to keep doing something just because we start.
Hello and welcome to our pinpoint session. Chad and I were just having a really cool conversation about how it often comes up in conversation that, maybe you're having a tough time, but you say to yourself, well, my parents didn't raise a quitter. And Chad kind of told me something interesting that I wanted to share with you about how that mentality could actually be harming us more than helping us.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, when they say mom didn't raise no quitter or dad didn't raise no quitter, what they're effectively saying is I was taught that I've got to push through and keep grinding until eventually we make a breakthrough or something works out. And this mentality comes through that Great Depression age, right? Where you just had to keep getting by, keep pushing through to survive. You don't quit. You just keep going. You keep trying. You just grind, grind, grind. Well, the beautiful thing is when we realize that if we follow their advice, we also follow their results. Are they getting the same results that we're hoping for in their life? If so, great. Do what they did. But if their life at their age now in retirement or seniors doesn't look like the life that you want to live, then maybe you should stop taking the advice that got them where they are, right? It's okay to quit. Successful people quit consistently. But there's two caveats to that. There's two sides to every coin, right? You say, well, if they quit, they'd never succeed. Yes, they would. It's just they don't quit on the things that are effective.
So
When
how
they
do we tell
find
what
something
perspective?
effective, then they make it efficient.
Mm.
And they don't quit until they've proven that it's ineffective. But once they've proven that it's ineffective, they quit and go find something that is effective. And then they apply it until they prove it effective, and then they make it efficient. But the problem we get into is we run into sometimes maybe the program works fine, but it's not in alignment with who I am, which means it will never be effective. You wouldn't ask a mute to go be a public speaker. Although public speaking can be and is extremely profitable for many, you wouldn't want to take a person who doesn't know how to speak or doesn't speak the language of their audience and tell them to be a professional speaker. It just doesn't make sense. It would be better that that person quit and maybe went into writing in a language, in a text in which their audience could read and understand. Then they would be able to effectively communicate. So to identify what works and what doesn't work, here's the caveat. Don't quit until you've proven it's ineffective for you. And then identify, why is it ineffective? Is it the program? Is it the opportunity? Is it me? Is it my skills? Maybe it's just not effective because you haven't honed the skills necessary to implement it effectively. It doesn't mean the thing doesn't work. It just means you need to grow to make it effective. But what if you're very good at what you're supposed to be doing, but the thing just doesn't get results? And quit. Do something else, right? There's been countless number of people that will say, organic marketing is dead. Well, of course it is if you don't do it, right? Email marketing is dead. Of course, if you don't mail them. And if you do mail them, are you mailing them effective emails that serve a purpose? I've known many people that have thousands and thousands of people on their email list, and then they say, "Well, it doesn't make me no money. I don't know where they're getting their numbers from." Well, I'll tell you where they're getting their numbers from. The stats are coming from people who are effectively mailing their audience about things relative to their audience and then offering something that the audience wants. And then the audience buys it. But most of the people that say email marketing doesn't work are the ones who aren't mailing their list. And they're
That's
not doing
actually,
it consistently.
that was the next point I was actually going to bring up. You've mentioned so many factors, but I think one of the bigger ones tends to be consistency.
Yeah.
So what is an appropriate amount of consistency? Like, I know everything is going to be different, but how do you know you've been consistent enough to say, okay, I've given it a shot, now I need to quit?
Well, the first step is to eliminate that thought from your mind. I gave it a shot. Your goal is to prove it broken. That's my goal. Like my goal. If somebody gives me software, my goal is to break it. Right? I want to prove that it doesn't work. And I'm going to do absolutely everything that they say, how they say to do it, when they tell me to do it, exactly how it's described, so I can look at them and say, it doesn't work, this needs to be fixed.
Okay.
Because then I'm actually doing them a service. I help them make their product better. And I can walk away completely guilt free without being tied to or bound to the shame of failing at something because I know it wasn't me that failed. I gave it 100% and I proved that that thing was broken. Now, the other end of that is if you do it and you approach it in such a way that your job is to do absolutely exactly what they tell you, how they tell you, and you do it consistently until it proves there just is no result, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to find something that's broken, you're going to help them make it better and put something better back into the marketplace. Win-win for everybody. Or you're going to bank. You're going to make a lot of money.
Mm.
Okay? Now, there is that avenue like how long?
Yep.
I don't know. How long does it take somebody to bench 250 pounds?
Well, I guess it depends on where they start, right?
Yeah. Because if I go in there and you say, how long is it going to take you to bench 250 pounds? I was like, well, another 15 pounds and give me a month and I'll get there. If that's my goal, I'm going to knock it out in a month.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, maybe a week, right? No, I mean, depending on where you start, it could take you a lot longer to get there. So,
Yeah.
how long is too long? When you can confidently say, I have done exactly what they taught, and I have skillfully executed what they've told me to execute, and implemented it exactly like they've showed me, and I've got no results, be done.
I like that.
Okay?
I think so many of us try to take the opportunity and say, okay, well, I did it. But to your point, you need to hone the skill. You actually need to give it a chance and a shot versus like, okay, I ran through it once. This doesn't work. I'm done. I'm out.
Hmm.
I like that point.
Yeah, I mean, you were there the first time I did an event in a very specific way,
Yep.
right? And I
Yeah.
said, I am going to implement exactly what my coach told me to do in exactly the format that he told me to do it, which is exactly the opposite of the way that I presented and taught in the past.
Yep.
And I fought myself the entire way to not just go into training mode, right?
Yep. Yep.
Did I botch the event? Yeah. Did I do it perfectly? Nope. Did I do my best at it? Uh-huh. Was there tech issues? Yup. Did I walk away the next day with a $10,000 sale? Yup.
I was gonna say, I believe you did.
Yeah. Right? And then I knew even if I don't execute it perfectly, it's profitable. So, because I didn't make 100K that event, and they said, hey, you can easily make 100K with these events, do I throw in the towel?
No.
No, because I proved it is effective, but I proved to be ineffective in the delivery, the execution. So I said, now this one is on me. It's on my skills, on my honing, to where I need to up my game to match the level of the process that I'm trying to implement. Sometimes people jump in and they say the process, the system is supposed to do the work. There's no magic bullet, folks. I don't care what it is that you get into, you have to bring something to the table. So either the thing is going to be higher than you are in level, or you're going to be higher than that thing. If you're beyond the program, then go create a better program. Go do a better thing. Make more money. But if the program is more advanced than you are, don't quit the program. The program's already working for a lot of people. Up level you to meet the program and then execute, and then you can bank like everybody else banks.
I love that distinction you just made. How, it's either us and we can improve ourselves or do something better. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're above what you're trying to make work, then go do a better thing, right? Like, I guess a good way to put it, if you know how to paint a house, right?
Right.
Don't paint rocks for a living.
Mm.
But if you don't know how to paint a house, maybe you should start with basic understanding of paint and paint some cool little rock animals. Maybe you should draw some pictures. Maybe you should offer to paint a wall for your mom in her house, because no matter how bad it is, she'll still say she loves you, right? But
Yep.
it'll give you practice. But if you're already an exceptional house painter, here's an idea: stop painting the houses and train painters, and then run a house painting business. Because you can
Oh,
pass that skill on to someone else. Now they can do the majority of the work, and then you can leverage multiple workers for a much higher profit and therefore serve far more homes by leveraging the work of others. Now you take your expertise and you're able to make more and more homes beautiful for your community by leveraging the other works, by passing those skills on. And when you find, once you hone a skill, teach it to somebody. It's not like they're going to be your competition if you continue to grow, because they'll always be right behind you. So never be afraid to teach somebody something new. More often than not, when you offer to teach something to somebody for nothing, most will say no for fear that you're there to get something. They'll even be rude, like we just talked about before this call. Straight
right.
out just offer to serve somebody. Be like, hey, I can see there's a little stick point there. Be happy to hop on a call real quick and just show you how to fix that. He immediately assumed, oh, it's that's not how you do sales calls. I was like, who's doing a sales call? It's just offering to help a fellow business person. You've got to be aware that not everybody is ready to advance. Not everybody is ready to take the next step. So, say you have an offer, don't feel like you failed if somebody doesn't take you up on the offer. That's just where they are, right? So we have to understand there's two sides, there's two parts to every situation, right? There's us offering something, but there has to be somebody there who's ready to receive it. Not just need it, they got to be ready to receive it as well. So we can't feel shame or guilt because something isn't, working. Maybe you might want to think and say, well, maybe it's not working because I keep offering it to people who aren't ready to receive it yet. So the big takeaway is to recall, it's just do it long enough to prove that you will not get a result. And eventually you will realize it's just not going to work, and then you quit. You quit like turning off a light switch. Done, gone. Delete the website, delete the blog, move on. Start fresh. It's okay.
Yeah,
Because if it
I've
what
done that side of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if nobody's buying it, then nobody's gonna miss it. And if people miss it and they start asking about it, then you'll realize maybe it was your delivery, not the program.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So give it 100%. Don't do this. I'm going to give it 20% and then hope that by chance, randomly, somebody's going to buy from me eventually. Give it 100%. What else have you got to do? Especially this day and age. A lot of people are like, I'm turning to online business because I don't have a job anymore. Okay, then don't tell me you don't have time to run your business. Yeah, it would blow your mind the amount of people that I talk to who literally tell me, I don't have time to do that. And be like, oh, where do you work? I'm like, well, I don't have a job right now. I'm like, so if you take eating and sleeping out of your entire day, that should give you a 12-hour day. And since some of us run a business on 12 hours a week, I think you could probably accomplish something in a 12-hour day just starting out. And what we don't want to do is fall into the trap of, well, I tried, it didn't work. No big deal. If you tried it and you gave it 100% and it didn't work, don't you dare walk away. That's extremely selfish. Be the giving person. Go back to the product owner and say, hey, this is what I was doing and I got no results, chances are they will look at you and say, okay, well, what exactly were you doing? Oh, well, why weren't you doing this and, this training that I showed you? They're like, well, I didn't, it's always going to come back to these words. I didn't think that was going to work. Oh, well, that's the part that's missing in the process. They'll probably show you what you've been missing, which is probably why you're not being effective in what you're doing. Like we have the sleep pay portal, right? The amount of people that come back, well, I don't know how to do this. How about this? How about this? How about this? And the answer is always the same. Go to the training portal. There's a whole video on it. Like, why are you asking me when I've already given you everything that you need there? You're like, oh, there's training in there? Like, what do you mean there's training? Of course, that's what the whole thing is there for, right? You've got to make sure that you access everything that's available to you and give it 100%. Or just don't start, don't bother. If you don't believe that you're worth putting 100% into something, then why are you wasting your time getting frustrated over something that will not work because you're not willing to work it? Just doesn't make any sense. So I say, give it everything you got until you've proven that it's ineffective, and then quit. And if you give it everything that you've got and there's some sort of a result, then ask yourself, where is the lack? Is it in my execution or is it in the program's potential? If it's in you, fix it. If it's in the program's potential, talk to the product creator and see if you can fix it with them and then collect a portion of the profits for the redo make, the 2.0. Like, don't miss an opportunity. Help them make it better. If we are focused on bringing the best into the marketplace will always have the best. Instead of this hashed up, rehashed, regurgitated garbage that normally comes out. Know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. On the other side of that, Chad, what happens when we get to that point where, maybe we quit and we're moving on to the next thing, but maybe we're having trouble staying on track with what we want to do? Like, that I think some people refer to it as, oh, hey, look, a squirrel or shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no. See, the most powerful thing that we can do in our business, in our life in general, is to learn the power of no. A lot of people say, well, no doesn't empower us to do anything. It does. It empowers us to do one thing exceptionally well. And do you know what that thing is?
Can't say that I do.
The one thing that you don't say no to. If you say no to everything except one, then you will be able to give that one thing 100% of your attention, 100% of your intention, 100% of your focus, your energy, your drive. Everything that you are can be poured into that one thing, and it will become super, super effective. It will work really, really well because it will have 100% of who you are. But you can never do that if you're always distracted on this, that, and the other thing. It's like when you go to, like on Facebook, it's hilarious. You're like, I'm an affiliate marketer. Here's what's that called? The link tree. And you go to the link tree and it's got like 90 different making money offers, all affiliate links. And you're like, yeah, so which one works? None of them. Because that person isn't working any of them.
Right.
Because not one of those programs are going to say, here, put my link next to a whole bunch of competing links. Not one of them is telling them to do that. So they're not actually working any one of those programs. They're just saying, I'm going to put a whole bunch up there and hopefully somebody will buy what I have. It's called the supermarket approach. We're just going to bring in every variety of every different product we can possibly think, try and organize it, and then tell people to come there. And if they see something they like, hopefully they'll grab it from us.
That doesn't sound incredibly effective.
No, the only way that's going to be effective is if you have a grocery marketing option, which is everybody comes to you. But you have to have insane amounts of traffic to make that work.
I was going to say, it sounds like a whole process in its own right.
Yeah. I mean, a grocery store, how do you market? Lowest priced food in town. You don't even have to tell them what type of food. You don't have to tell them the prices. You just say lowest priced food.
Mm.
People are going to go there because they have to have food. They need food. And you're in town. Well, you're online. You can't just provide the cheapest, best option in a world where everybody else is trying to get the same customer with everybody else having exactly the same access to those customers. My local supermarket has direct access to us here locally because we have to drive past them every single day. And we will pay more for the food here than to drive 25 miles to go at a couple cents cheaper somewhere else. So we'll pay more for it because of their proximity to where we are.
But online, that approach just doesn't make sense.
No, because I can be anywhere in the world with one click.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So we actually have to provide a specific service for a specific person and build our marketing around that very specific area so that we only attract those people.
That makes sense.
If you offer a service that specifically
Mhm.
is geared towards software marketers, and you're sitting around in a bunch of coaching groups trying to get them to come over and buy your stuff, it's kind of ridiculous,
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it would work.
right? So you have to know who your audience is. But the biggest thing is just start saying no to people. If you don't think that they're your ideal client, say no. If you don't feel that you can serve them 100% with what you're offering, say no. If you think that other thing promises something greater than what this is promising, say no. Until you've proven that this doesn't work, you've got no right looking anywhere else. And if you are, you're just guaranteeing that none of it will work. Because every business that you start is going to require your attention, your focus, and intention. All of it has to be put in together, or your business will fail. Because your distraction will take away the empowerment to make that thing effective. So quit often, say no consistently. You'll profit more and have more momentum to carry you forward into your success. It's really quite simple. You just got to have the courage to say, the investment that I made wasn't a bad investment. It's just that the investment that I made didn't get my desired result. It was a good investment because I now know one thing that does not work effectively in the business model, so I will not fall trap to that same thing again in the future. A good investment and a bad investment isn't based on whether or not you got the result you were looking for. A bad investment is when you gain nothing. I mean, if I invest into a business and they pay me with cabbage, it's not a bad investment, especially for me, because I'm going to take that cabbage and I'm going to make soup, and then I'm going to sell the soup by the bowl, and I'm going to multiply the value of that cabbage. I would have preferred cash. But if you give me cabbage, it wasn't what I expected. I'm still going to turn around, figure out how to multiply that and benefit so that I can reinvest into something else that may be a little bit more strategic. Right? So don't get stuck going, oh, well, I spent $2,000 on this program. I got to keep doing it. I know I've been doing it for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and I still have no return. Okay, something is broken. It's either your implementation or it's the program. But if you're doing anything for 3 months consistently according to what you're taught, and you haven't had some sort of result that's positive, either it's broken or you are. Fix it or leave it. But stop doing the same thing. There is nothing that you should do for a month on end without having a result. You know, maybe it's the fact that you're growing your email list. Okay, doesn't mean you're always going to make profit in your first month. In offline business, they estimate 2.5 to 3 years before they ever actually turn a profit. But they're actually gaining an audience. They're gaining a crowd. They're gaining customers. They're gaining a customer pool. They're building something in the process. But if you're just promoting somebody else's product for months and months on end and you're not getting anything out of it, why are you doing it? It's ridiculous. You'd be better off creating your own $50 product and selling it to a bunch of low ticket people. At least you'd be making some money, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So Quit the thing once you've proven it ineffective. If you've been doing something for 3 months and have not earned any profit yet, you got one of two things. Figure out, is it the program or is it you? Are you giving it 100%? Are you giving it 100% of your attention, intention, time, focus, and energy? If you're not, then you need to start doing that so you can find out whether or not it's the program that's ineffective or you. And then either up-level your game or take your game and rise above the previous program. One of the two. But never stay stuck doing something that's ineffective. And don't make it efficient. There's nothing worse than efficiently doing what need not be done. It's the biggest time waster out there. It's the biggest creator of poverty. Convincing people to do what is ineffective. Find something that's effective and give it all you got. You will succeed.
Before you, well, thank you so much, Chad. There was a lot of great insights there. I hope all of you took away as much as I did from that. I think we're going to call it a day today. So, Chad, did you have anything you wanted to add before we go?
Nope, we are good to go. You guys have an amazing day.
Awesome. See you guys next time.
All right, bye-bye.